In today's show, we'll take a look at wildlife underpasses that connect open space and allow the movement of wildlife from one habitat to another. Robert Henke joins us from Science Applications International Corporation.
Well, it started in 1998 when the Colorado Department of Transportation, or CDOT, and Federal Highway Administration and Douglas County expressed concern about congestion and safety issues on US 85 and I-25. And so they initiated a study known as an environmental impact statement to look at the environmental effects of widening for both of those transportation corridors. Douglas County expressed particular concern about the wildlife use in that area, as well as the landscape or habitat connections across US 85. Through a Smart Growth grant, Douglas County was able to contribute funds to our study and match funding from the CDOT and Federal Highway Administration to look at landscape linkages and habitat connectivity across US 85. The first thing we wanted to find out was what animals were crossing the highways. So we knew what was crossing over the highway by roadkill, but those were only unsuccessful attempts. So we waited until it snowed and then walked the corridors along the shoulders and looked at tracks to determine which species were crossing over. To look at the species crossing underneath the highway, we put up soot plates. And here we used acetylene torches to soot the plates, and then we were able to determine from footprint identification which species crossed underneath the highway. And we counted the number of individuals and species crossing underneath and over the highway. And we had 14 species, elk and deer, some of the larger animals that people are most familiar with going over. But we discovered bobcats and even a mountain lion crossing under. And then some of the more common species, rabbits and raccoons and badgers, that people are more familiar with. So there's a diversity of wildlife crossing over and underneath US 85. The interaction between highways and wildlife is a growing concern of a number of conservation organizations and departments of transportation. We feel that we're going to be able to use the information that we collected from our study to help CDOT design underpasses on US 85, which are more accommodating for wildlife movement and will further connect these conservation areas.
Douglas County has a wide variety of wildlife. Everything from the big animals such as elk, deer, bear, and mountain lion, bighorn sheep, down to mice, just a little bit of everything, not to mention all the songbirds and raptors. I've been in this county 5 years, and in my time here I have seen a decline in both the diversity of wildlife and the populations of wildlife in certain areas due to the lack of habitat or the loss of habitat. The residents have identified wildlife as a very important asset to the county. We want to maintain and preserve that into the future. The way to do that with all the development and human use in the county is to preserve large areas of open habitat and to connect those with corridors. By combining the open wildlife habitat areas with the pike forest and with each other, you've actually increased the effectiveness, and it's just a very healthy system when you have movement back and forth. So these areas here, such as what we're standing in, are very, very important to maintaining that wildlife. Without them, it just couldn't exist.